please give your name and age?
My name's Lee Wadey, 46 years old.
What do you think neo-imperialism means?
I think it means expanding businesses across a global atmosphere, something like that.
Its actual definition is the policy or practice of a wealthy or powerful nation extending its influence into less developed ones, especially in exploiting its resources,
Okay.
but not always. What do you think, after hearing that definition, what do you think of neo-imperialism?
I think it's been very common throughout the history.
Is there any company that you think would be an example of neo-imperialism?
Yeah, I think there's McDonald's is probably a good one. When you think about where McDonald's started in the US and then over the years it's expanded into all the countries around the world.
Do you think McDonald's is an example of neo-imperialism? So, pretty much just answer that.
I'd assume so, yeah.
Have you ever preferred an American fast food joint to a local food place in a foreign country or domestic?
Yeah, actually when I was a kid, KFC came to London, Kentucky Fried Chicken, and there was nothing like that in England at the time. So it was a pretty big special thing to go to KFC and get, a bucket. And it tasted very different than what else was around. So it was a pretty big deal as a kid to go there.
So do you think that the fast food expansion into foreign countries could destroy the local identity?
I think it has, yeah. I think it can. I think about certain restaurants in England, like fish and chip shops, were very, very popular when I was a kid, and they are now less popular because there's so many other choices to go to. You can go to McDonald's, you can go to KFC, you can go to Wendy's, you can go to a bunch of other places, and I think that local, more sort of traditional places to eat definitely have struggled with the competition, and a lot of them fish and chip shops have gone out of business. Yeah.
So would you support the addition of more or less fast food places globally?
Well, I don't think fast food places are really a good place to go eat anyway, because they're not very healthy for you. So I probably would say, there should be less. But if somebody could figure out how to create a fast food chain that served really good, healthy food, I think that would be quite interesting.
Do you think neo-imperialism has more of a cultural or economic impact on the surrounding area?
Probably economic. They do hire local employees in these places, so it does provide jobs and income. I'm not really sure about the cultural side of it.
Do you think McDonald's new cultural food items, such as the ones in India without beef, or where they introduce some of the local culture into the food, do you think that's helping lessen the impact?
I think it certainly sort of shows some sensitivity to the local markets and the local cultures and customs, which I think is a very smart business thing to do, because it makes your product more attractive to the local communities, and you'll probably get a better acceptance and adoption within the local country. But it's at the end of the day, it's frustrating because at the end of the day, it's all about them just expanding their presence and generating more revenue.
One last question: will new imperialism ever end?
No, don't think so.
Why so?
I think that there's so many big companies now that really need to expand their revenue growth and expand their profitabilities. The only way they're going to be able to do that is by globally expanding. They've already saturated the US, or they've saturated the company or the country that they were originated in, and in order to get to that revenue growth that they need to expand into other geographies.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome.